Hello, everybody. Good morning and happy Friday to you. Good afternoon and good evening for some of you. I see Anne in Germany. It's probably after work time for her. It's in the evening. But happy Friday, and thank you all for tuning in and joining me. Looks like we've got Robert in California. Charmin is joining us as well. We've got John and Janice. Looking like Karen and Stephanie as well, which is great. It looks like Karen's getting a bit of a snowstorm, and Corinne and Anne are both in the sunshine probably, Corinne being in Pasadena. Hopefully you can send some sunshine my way. Looks like we've got Dylan checking in and saying hi. We've got some snow here, and I think in Ohio the sky right now is the same color as the snow on the ground, just like gray and white and not very exciting. So send me your vitamin D because I could use it for those of you in California and Germany, apparently. Dylan's looking like he's in the UK, so that's awesome. So thanks for tuning in. I want to start off by talking about this week in our community. Lots of students have found ways to fit creativity into their days in really tiny ways. So in Draw Tip Tuesday this week, Kosha shared drawing going really big, and I think some students have been doing the opposite and drawing really tiny as a contrast. And I want to share some of the really tiny art that you've been making. Looks like Tina's checking in too. Hi, Tina. So I want to share this lovely little drawing, and this is part of a series that Dominic has been doing. And he's been doing these tiny artist trading cards when he goes places. And he's waiting in waiting rooms or if he's waiting on an appointment. But he's been doing really tiny drawings on artist trading cards, and he takes a few of them with him when he goes on outings. And I love the idea of working really small and just taking a little tiny sheet of paper with you. You don't feel the need to have a giant sketchbook, but just working small and on these little trading cards. So I love Dominic's idea. He's done a bunch of those. And another student, Gina, has a tiny sketchbook. And for scale, you can see her fingers there in the pictures, but she does these tiny little drawings of dogs. And I just love the format of these and how small they are. And they're so cute, and they're really touching little portraits, but they're bite-sized, and I love that. So Gina, thank you for sharing those. And then Emma also works in a really tiny sketchbook. Looks like someone's doing some baking while watching, so hopefully they don't get any flour or oil or egg on their device. But I love this drawing that Emma did with a tiny sketchbook, just on her property, walking around. And she mentions that she feels way less precious. Hey, Jesus, thanks for checking in. But she feels way less precious about a sketchbook if it's this tiny little scribble pad that she keeps around. And she made a really lovely drawing on it. It's bite-sized, and I love it. Another way that students have been fitting in creativity kind of in small ways is Gina actually shared something that she does on a weekly basis, and she sets up a page for herself with the date for the week and some small boxes, kind of like a grid that she creates for herself at the start of a week. And this is a really simple step, but it fills up an entire page. And by the end of the week, she's got this finished little diagram of things that she did that week. And we've done this in a few Sketchbook Skool courses, but I just love being able to see Gina's starting point, which is just a gridded off page, and see what she did with it throughout the week. So she filled that up, and I love the idea of giving yourself a little structure to kind of work in when sometimes a whole page just feels like too much. So Gina, thank you for sharing that. And some other exciting art that people have been making in the schoolyard that I wanted to share with you. Anne Sinarski has been experimenting with acrylic ink, and she's been doing these amazing drawings on location in acrylic ink, and she's getting these bright, vibrant colors. And this one in particular, she drew of a little courtyard area that had these really cool murals. And I've never used acrylic ink before, but the colors that she's achieving are just amazing. So Anne, I love seeing these, and I hope that she shares a lot of them in the schoolyard and on Facebook. But the colors here are just incredible. So I love seeing that, Anne, and I hope that we see more of it. Another student that took an exercise from one of our courses where students draw in painstaking detail their kitchen, which can be a really long drawing. A student did that for homework in one of our courses a while ago, and a friend actually requested that they do that drawing of their kitchen, kind of like a gift. So Rito did this lovely drawing of a friend's kitchen that they asked for, and I think about it, and sometimes people love having drawings of their home or a photograph taken of their house or a place that's very fond, very special to them. And the fact that this person wanted their kitchen documented, I thought about it, and I spend a lot of time in my kitchen. I love cooking, I love baking, and doing all sorts of things in the kitchen. And I love the idea of documenting, a favorite space in your house. So Rita was able to use those skills from the original Tommy Kane kitchen drawing exercise that we did in a beginning course at Sketchbook Skool. And he used those skills to do a drawing for a friend. And I love how it turned out. So thanks for sharing that, Rito. And another student, kind of in the culinary realm, did an illustrated recipe, and she did it in German. And the thing that I love about illustrated recipes is that even if you don't know all the words, I still love this drawing and I can tell what she's making. It looks like she made this lovely little sort of vegan version of hot chocolate, looking like she used almonds or some nuts to make her own nut milk, and then she added cocoa, it looks like, and made this delicious looking little hot beverage. And I might have been drawn to this because it's cold here, it's snowing outside, but I loved this drawing, and I love that she was able to do this and not need to use any, she used German words, which is kind of cool to see the ingredients there in another language. So I love seeing illustrated recipes, and I think it's really cool that they can be in any language and still be a really effective piece of art. And I also want to share with you some of the meetups that are coming up. So the Northern LA Sketchers are going to be meeting up in Pasadena. I believe Ginger is one of the organizers for that on February 11th at 10 a.m. They're going to be meeting at Intelligentsia, a coffee shop, so the info for that is in the schoolyard under events. And then the NorCal Sketchbook Buddies next weekend are going to be meeting on the 15th at 10 a.m. In Dixon, California, and those details are also in the schoolyard under events. Now for the final portion of this update every week, I really have enjoyed doing drawings with you and just taking a minute, even for myself, to just set aside 3 minutes and draw. So for this week, I have my timer again, and I really like the idea of just drawing things that you have access to, things that are around you. So for those of you that are going to participate and do some drawing with me, I want you to grab something that's at your desk or your table. And today I'm going to focus on something that I can take apart. So if you have something you can take a lid off of, we're going to do 2 little mini short drawings within this 3-minute period. So you're going to draw something once and then take it apart somehow, whether it's taking off a lid or rotating it or taking a piece off if it's something that you can open, like if it's a scratch pad or a book. Something that you can manipulate, and you can do it with chapstick. I have one at my desk that you can take a lid off of, but find something within your reach. It could be a pen even that you just take the cap off of that we're going to start with for this drawing. And I'm actually going to use this little tea bag that I got I went to a meeting and they had tea out for people to take, and these tea bags are packaged in this lovely little box with a little tea leaf. And I'm going to draw this and then take it apart, take the tea bag out of the box for part 2. So grab your object if you have something accessible at your desk, at your table, if you're in a kitchen or a living room. Grab a remote or something that you can manipulate a little bit. And I'm going to start this timer. You can do this in a sketchbook. I'm going to do it in my current sketchbook with a giant fat pen that I love these Posca markers. So I'm going to work with a big marker to kind of fill the page up. And I want you to grab your object, and I'm going to start the timer, and at 1.5 minutes, so halfway through, I'm going to stop it and ask you guys to manipulate your object. So take a lid off, open something, even just shift the way that it's sitting on your table. So we'll draw it twice, a little bit of a different perspective. So I'm going to press start, and I'm going to put the screensaver up. So our timer has started. And just so you're not staring at me, I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to get to drawing my tea bag. And for any of you that are just joining us right now, we are spending 3 minutes doing a quick drawing. We're actually going to do 2 mini drawings in this session, so grab an object that you have, whatever's handy. I'm drawing a tea bag that I have at my desk that I have not used yet. I'm going to drink it after this. It's Earl Grey. I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to draw this, and I just want you to take these couple minutes and do a drawing. Maybe it's early where you are, and you haven't drawn yet, I haven't done any drawings yet today, so selfishly I'm using this as like a little moment for me to pause what I'm doing and do some drawing. And you can do a contour line drawing. You can use any tool that's available. You can use a ballpoint pen, whatever you have on hand. I'm using a big fat marker to draw my tea bag. And I want you to think about whatever object you chose, and in about 15 seconds, we are going to manipulate our object somehow. So we are at the 1.5 minute mark right now. I'm going to take my object and kind of take it apart, open it up a little bit. If you are working with something at your desk, I'm taking the tea bag out of the container. So I'm going to draw both of these together. So we will go for another 1.5 minutes if you've manipulated your object somehow. And you can draw it on the same page. You're just drawing a different viewpoint of that object. So even if it's something that you can't take a lid off of or you can't change, we're just going to do something a little different with it. So that could be as simple as turning it around, or flipping it around, or standing it on a different end, whatever works for you. So what I ended up doing was taking this tea bag out of its container. So that's how I changed my object. And you can have these both on the same page, and we'll just get a different view of it, which will be really nice. So I'm going to finish that off. I actually broke the tea bag I was drawing. I took the little leaf off, and the thread came off, so whoops. Might be kind of difficult to steep, but I'll figure it out. And I'm just going to make sure, so I'm working with the 2 parts right now. Deb, you're just checking in. We're doing a quick 3-minute drawing together, just to kind of take a moment out of our day and do some drawing. And it is about to wrap up. This timer is about to go off. All right. So pens down. Just a little quickie. Sorry. So I wound up with my sort of deconstructed tea container that you can't really see because I chose a peach Posca marker. But I just took it apart and I just set it down on my desk, and now I'm going to go brew this cup of tea, hopefully. Hope that it doesn't fall apart. Might have to do some straining afterwards to get the bits out, but thank you for sitting down for a minute and just doing some drawing. And for those of you that are watching, Deb says yes. Deb says to remove with a spoon. Yes, I will try to get the leaves out, hopefully, and don't wind up with any of those in my mouth. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and just taking a moment with us to kind of kick off a creative weekend. I hope all of you have an awesome Friday and a really good weekend, and that we see you back here next week. Thanks you all for tuning in. Have an awesome day.